It's been 3 months of pushing ourselves to the absolute limits here in Australia, but the time has come to say goodbye to the yard for now as we set off on a whirlwind trip across continents. First stop, California,
Yeehaw, Sierra!
where we'll catch up with Brady and Blue. Then it's on to Sweden, where we resume building our home away from home.
It's like some medieval process. You actually have to water the wall.
So we've gone from like boat work to housework.
And then we're gonna take a 6-hour drive all the way over to the other side of Sweden, to the west coast, to Marstrand, where we're gonna visit the Rutgerson factory and see how our hatches and our port lights for Delos 2.0 are gonna be made. Can you believe it? 12 weeks, 3 months has flown by already.
I know, feels wild.
Our visas are about to expire, so we have to leave Australia and it's time to visit family, so.
The last, I would say, since we flipped the boat, it's been what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, just over 2 weeks.
Yeah, just over 2 weeks. It's been an absolute push.
There was a bunch of things I wanted to get done before we left that have to get done before the deck is welded on. I think we're at a good spot though, like we've gotten the boat to a really good spot, and we thought maybe before we left and flew back to visit Brady for a week and then to Sweden to see more, we'd give you a little bit of an update. First of all, coming up here, guys, this is gonna blow you away.
No way!
We have stairs.
I haven't even seen this. Oh my God, guys, this is so cool.
The platform is starting to take shape. So this is like, look how big this is. So this is an amazing area. It's 1 meter wide. This is gonna be where our dinghy sits. And we're gonna have this whole space for like a table or chairs or a deck or just entertaining or setting up dive gear and stuff. This is the outside galley. So gonna be barbecue, sink and stuff here. So it's like a whole walk around space, right? Which I'm really excited about. I've been running conduits, the one for the power, for the electric propulsion that has to carry a huge amount of energy from the batteries. It turned out really well. I'm really happy with it. We're in the salon now. You can see this red channel. It goes all the way up there where the batteries are gonna be. So this red channel goes all the way back, and then it goes into a T junction right here. And then it goes to either side to the engine room. It has 2 big bus bars in it, positive on the bottom, air separation with insulation in between, and then negative on the top. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So now I can bring this down into the engine room, and then I have my 48-volt propulsion power. These go all the way across to the other engine room in case I need to run between the 2 sides, and then these 2 on this side go up through the center of the boat.
So basically all of this will be welded down.
So this all
here.
gets welded down, so that's why it was important that I got all this done and run before the deck gets welded down.
Yeah.
When we get back, all the decks will be on, the salon, the cabin top, the roof will be created. I'm gonna miss out on the rest of the welding and fabrication, but can't be here for everything, I guess. But when we get back, it'll be time to start out on all the fit out of the systems and the propulsion and the prop shafts and you know, running the wiring and the hoses and everything, so.
Okay, we got all our boxes stored away. Now we're gonna go home and just get ready to go to the airport.
We have a mild 25 hours or so of flying. Before we head out on this super long trip, I wanted to tell you about something that has been an absolute game changer for me. It's one of those clever little things that becomes super obvious once you've used it for a while, which is why I'm happy to say that today's video is proudly sponsored by Ridge. I first got my Ridge wallet about 6 months ago when we first left Delos to start this build. And I can honestly say, it's one of those pieces of kit that I never leave home without. It is super sleek and comfortably fits in my front pocket for security. It's RFID blocking to keep your cards safe while you travel, and amazingly can fit up to 12 cards, no worries. And just like Delos 2.0, it's made out of some truly remarkable materials that make it rugged. Plus, for the holiday season, you'll find items up to 47% off on Ridge's website. Ridge is absolutely perfect for that special sailor in your life. All you gotta do is head on over to ridge.com/SVDelos, where you can find things up to 47% off and get the perfect gift for this holiday season, all while supporting the Delos 2.0 build at the very same time. Thank you so much for watching, and now let's go take a flight to the US and Sweden.
Our journey begins in Truckee, California, home to Brady and Blue. For those of you who don't know, Brady's my younger brother, and he was on Delos from the very beginning. We spent 10 unforgettable years sailing the globe together. That's also when he met his soulmate, Alex Blue, and they've been soaking up the goodness in Lake Tahoe for the last 6 years.
Don't worry about carving, just front foot weight, back foot weight. See what it does.
I got it!
Red's a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's an old fella.
He's like a grandpa. It would be like going for a ride on Grandpa.
Say yeehaw, Sierra.
Oh, here we go.
You guys are killing it. Oh no!
But beyond the perks of life on land, Brady and Blue's real focus has been on their venture.
Here, this is the home base of the once and only Cruisers Academy.
They've taken everything they've learned over the years of life at sea and turned it into a place where others can learn the fundamentals of sailing. Learning to sail is one thing, but actually learning to live and cruise on a boat is something else entirely. They keep Lentica, a sweet Passport 42, down in Mexico to teach their live-aboard cruising courses, so you can really learn how to pick a good anchorage, set the hook, interpret weather, and actually how to run a proper cruising boat for real. The trips are filling up fast, so if you're keen for an amazing experience, check out cruisersacademy.com and book your spot.
Oh, it smells like sailing. Dun, 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 dun.
So what we do is we see this fan over here.
Yeah.
We put that up with the boat here.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what point of sail is this? How do we trim?
I want to see you.
One more.
Happy birthday to you.
Elsa.
Yay! Oh! Did you make a wish?
Sierra, you rode a horse today, then you went to the park, then you went sailing, then you swam in Lake Tahoe. You kidding me? What a day!
What a day.
What a 5-year-old day! Oh, Uncle Brady.
Our time here was everything we'd hoped for, and I'm so proud of the life that Brady and Blue have built for themselves. But our time was up, and we buckled up for a hellish 4-leg journey across the Atlantic to Sweden.
We did it.
I'm exhausted.
That was crazy.
4 flights,
We're so tired.
30 hours.
Made it.
Good to see you.
Whoa, we made it, guys. It just feels amazing to be here again. Home.
Yay!
it's so cool that we actually are renovating the house right next to Mom's house. I don't know if you guys remember, but like 2 years ago, we decided to kind of fix this house up, and Brian started to tear down like the huge oven.
We're getting there.
That was crazy.
Like 20 tons of stones I moved, and ever since then we've been turning it from like a dirty little dirt floor, dark, dingy building into someplace livable. And when I say we've been doing it, it's really More that deserves the credit here.
Hey, more.
Hi, look at this.
She's been our general contractor on the ground, organizing everything and making our dreams happen while we've been on the other side of the world.
We've also been working a lot on putting the color on this house. So we want to make it red, very Swedish.
This medieval shit you're putting on the wall.
It's like a really old way of painting and treating the outside of houses here in Sweden.
It's like some medieval process. You actually have to water the wall because if it dries too quickly, it'll either crack, fall off, or not cure to the wall or something. So we have to do this every few hours. And then we come back over it with some, what do you call it, calc? Like calcium colored material that you basically slop up there, and then you water the wall again and it activates it somehow, and then it bonds to the limestone underneath. Anyway, it's a super time consuming process, and we've been working on it for ages.
So we've gone from like boat work to housework.
Nice and toasty in here. It's not finished.
But it's getting
This
there.
is what I'm proud of. I think that you can call this a kitchen. The kitchen turned out really nice. This is the living room.
I love
think it
this.
turned out quite
It's
well.
kind of a mixture of old and new, you know? Like originally we kind of wanted to keep like the stone walls, but we also really wanted it insulated because right now when it's really cold outside, it's super nice and toasty in here.
What have we been doing?
Well, we've been working on the videos, as
Working
usual.
on the videos, yeah.
We've been
Editing
working
videos.
a lot on Delos 2.0.
Yeah. This is like a huge project management effort behind the scenes. So I literally spend probably 2 to 3 hours every day now that I'm not welding and grinding, working on the behind the scenes systems. Like you've been designing the interior, you've been selecting like
Everything.
the fridges, the freezers, the stove, the oven, like all the appliances, and then working on
because
the
before
cabinetry.
Steve can kind of like make the cabinets for the kitchen, he needs to know the exact measurements to like really fit everything in like a puzzle in the kitchen, or in the galley. Sorry. Yeah, I've been working on
what
that.
have I been doing?
Windows,
doors,
never-ending windows.
acrylic versus polycarbonate.
Yeah.
And tempered glass, and like the sizes and the types of frames and the batteries and the propulsion system, and I don't know, everything in between. It's really fascinating. All right, well, we are going on a little adventure. We're actually heading over to the mainland, to Stockholm, and then we're gonna take a 6-hour drive all the way over to the other side of Sweden, to the west coast, to Marstrand, where we're gonna visit the Rutgerson factory, meet up with Charlotte and Ludwig, and see how our hatches and our port lights for Delos 2.0 are gonna be made. Here we go. Giant boat, huh?
Almost there. We made it.
How do you pronounce it?
Marstrand.
I would say Marstrand.
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 It's an exciting day because we're gonna go and see the Rutgerson factory. I haven't really seen or know anything about how hatches are made and stuff, so it's gonna be really fascinating to see and really cool to talk to them. So super stoked to be here. It's really cool to come and see you guys and the factory and Marstrand. I've learned that you don't say Marstrand, you say Marstrand.
That's correct.
The proper way. But I want to talk a little bit more about who started Rutgerson and like how long ago did this company come about?
So it was my father, Göran Rutgersson, and he started the company in the 70s. Basically, the story is that he was working as an engineer at the Swedish car manufacturer Saab, and he was in his spare time racing in different competitions, sailing competitions, and he had this idea for a press ring, a ring in the sail, because back then it was basically sewed in by hand. It was very time consuming, very hard on the hands, and it wasn't very strong either. So he basically invented this ring, which is made of two parts, one with teeth and one that sort of curls around the other in a press.
So whenever you see this on the sail, it's most of the time it's from here.
It was really a revolution for sailmakers, because suddenly a process that taken so much time was suddenly just a couple of seconds, and it was, quicker, easier. So he basically packed a bag with a little industrial press and just flew around the world selling in this super ring to sailmakers in
Oh really? All around the world?
Yes.
Oh cool.
From there it just grew, and he added more products, sail hardware at the beginning, so it was basically purely sailmakers at the beginning. But then he added deck hardware, blocks, invented the rope clutch, port lights, then hatches, and it was just kept going like that. Wow. And now we're just about 1,000 finished products, so it's grown over the years.
This is Ludwig. We've been talking for a long time online and through emails, and we're really excited because we're here to talk about the hatches for Delos 2.0. And we were just having a little bit of a chat about this earlier, but it's quite rare to have flush mount hatches on an aluminum boat. One of the things we've been thinking about is using flush hatches. So, normally like the hatches on Delos,
Fancy.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
So they sit up on top of the deck, and then they come up a little bit, which is okay. It works good, but kind of like the new modern style hatches are flush mount, which means you inset it into the deck, and then the hatch actually sits down in there, which means that you don't have anything on top of the deck for to stub your toe on. If you want to lay out on that part of the deck, it's completely flat.
Yeah.
It's just it is more difficult to install because you have to accommodate for drainage, and so on a normal hatch, the water just flows off the sides onto the deck, whereas on a flush mount hatch, if you don't provide drainage and you open the hatch and it's been raining or you've taken a wave, then all the water is just sitting there
and
inside and it just
the
comes in. You can open this partially and lower it any position you like, which is so much better than the wooden stick we use right now.
Yep.
The frames for the hatches, they're not metal, right?
No, they are composite, yeah, and that's quite good for you because
that's one of the reasons why we chose them, is because everything we do, we have to think about dissimilar metals. So we have aluminum, and we don't want to put anything that could potentially
we believe it's better for any boat, but especially for a metal boat, since there are no welds.
Is it injection molded then? Is that how the frames are created?
Yeah, the frame is injection molded.
And then you can do it in the color that you want, and so then there's no paint to come off.
We could basically do it in any color. So this is what we actually...
so that's what it actually starts out as. Yeah. It's amazing that our hatches started out as this, and then eventually they turned into something that keeps the water out of our boat.
Yeah. This is where we do the injection molding. This is polyamide, like nylon, but it's a very special one. It has a reinforcement. Okay. And normally the glass fiber is like spaghetti, like straight pieces. So the part is very strong in the orientation that the fiber is. But this one is curly, so it's like a patented fiber. So this one gets strong in every direction, and extremely strong. It's like the strongest material that you can injection mold at all.
Oh, cool.
This tool is, it has like a cavity, having this shape. and we melt the granulate up to like 300 degrees and push it into the cavity. These two ones are 80 tonners, which means that they push the tool mold halves with 80 ton. This one is 110 ton, and that is 380 ton. It's a very complicated job to make tools like this and to have this all synchronized. We are not only doing the parts in-house, we are also doing tools in-house.
On a number of our hatches, we've ordered them with this, which is the flush mount ventilation, which is quite a new product, and I'm really excited about it because you know how much it sucks every time it starts to rain. You have to go through and close all the hatches, which cuts off the ventilation, and the boat turns into a disgusting, hot, sweaty sauna.
So on your hatches, we will put an air vent like this. So it goes
really
down all.
nice.
So when it's closed, it's all flush. That's the only one in the world that is available like that.
Did you design that, Ludwig?
Yes, I did.
Nice job.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about the design process.
Yeah.
So how does that work, and how does it start? And like, let's say that you get an idea for a new product. Like, where does it begin, and where do you take it from there?
Usually, an idea comes from our salespeople who got it from their customer.
Okay.
So maybe they are missing a function, or they're not happy with the product they're using today, or sometimes I just had an idea. I look what's available on the market, and I try to find a better solution on anything.
Yeah.
Then I make a suggestion, and if it's small things, we make a prototype, like 3D printouts or in our workshop. So here is the air vent. It's kind of difficult to make it both waterproof, and then you have to have a nice feeling when you open it and close it. I wanted it to have a perfect resistance, but still enough to waterproof it.
When it's open, it's resistant to like rain and splashing,
Yeah,
but maybe not waves, right?
A little bit of waves. So the water comes in here and then it drains out here. And then it's like a tricky way for the water to enter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you can see pretty clear how like
The water comes in, hits that wall and has to go around that, like that, all the way there.
Wow.
So if it stops before here, it will just drain out there instead. So it's pretty water resistant, but if there's a lot of waves coming, you should.
Yeah, sure.
And when it's closed like this, it's as watertight as the rest of the hatch.
I see the O-ring around it and everything.
Yeah. So most of the products we have no rules, but for hatches and port lights, we need to respect some ISO rules.
I know about like zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and it has something to do with the height away from the water line, and if it's located on the side of the boat or the front or the aft of the boat.
That's right. So area 1 is the area that is closest to the water, like around 1 meter over the water line. And there are the strongest demands. And
I think, for example, we've chosen your air port lights for the side of our hull, which I'm really excited about because they look very sleek. They look very flush. I think that's going to look really nice on the outside of the hull. What type of glass do you use?
We use acrylics.
Yeah, like PMMA generally?
Yeah, PMMA.
This is the material. This is the acrylic. I think that might be a different thickness.
Yes.
But the acrylic gets lifted up with these vacuum pads from here. It gets brought over to the milling machine, set down, and it's once again held down by vacuum. And then the mill is programmed to go around and cut out a certain pattern time and time again. And so it just basically goes and cuts the whole sheet into whatever you set it up to do, right?
It also using different tools. So it uses one tool and makes all the shapes they want needed with that tool, and then it changes to.
Because different tools for different depths.
If you want or if you want to grow or a rounded edge and so on. So
And that's how our glass will be cut off.
Exactly the same way, but with a different setup of tools and another glass from start.
Cool. That's the only way you can really make this type of things in Sweden with relatively high labor rates, right? Is you need to automate as many things as possible. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
factory is super cool.
Yeah, it was way more big machinery than I kind of thought. I don't know what I expected, but
Yeah, well, I was just
awesome.
impressed by the level of automation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many cool machines down there. Like, you know how I get about like CNC mills and lathes and injection molded machines and everything. Like, everything. I'm all excited. Anyway, it's fascinating to see all that stuff under one roof and just the quality of products and the efficiency that it brings from having everybody kind of in the same house, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
If I worked here, I would want your job, Ludwig. I think you have the coolest job.
I have the best job at it.
You get to build cool
By
stuff
far.
and then see it come to life.
We are celebrating our 50th anniversary in 2026. It's just a shame that my father isn't here anymore, but we will just have to do the best we can and continue living sort of his original idea and you know, his company. Yeah, that's awesome.
You need to say, oh, I think Sarah died.
Uh-oh. I think Sierra's dead.
Since there are no welds or no coating on the
Woohoo!